imagination, 'cause as per always, I only have bullet points to go off of, and it's been a month. So forgive me if any details are missed, but I think I got just about everything. Last time, on whatever the fuck this is, the Six brought back into the past, finally beginning to get some roots here in discovering themselves in various different ways, and one of them being the bonding between you and your walkers, the large construct-like beings that are made of various different uh, planar substances and creatures, some of which still alive, others very much dead. Last time Mustang was a little went not fully AWOL, but at least spent some time by himself, recovering from both the jarring interaction with Wave, but also just keeping to himself most of the day to keep the Sparks voice out of his head. After you had that lovely argument when you tried to bond with your walker, and there was a clear distinction between two very powerful elemental beings fighting in your head over who should be the one that you make a deal with. Meanwhile, we had the follow-up from Mammoth's Little Dream, where after you failed to bond with the with your personal walker the first time, it ended up putting you to a bit of a mini comatose state, where you saw a massive winding creature beginning to wrap around the stars themselves, blocking them out one by one and consuming the light, slowly making its way up to you, where you realize some sort of reptilian opened its eye and said, "I see you," and consume. The dream ended with you getting eaten. However, there was a brief pause where you're unsure exactly how it happened, but you ended up in a halfway home, in a semi-familiar setting of comfortable bed linens, a bowl of ice cream, and your grandfather. They're telling you a brief story, trying to overall better the mood. And although seemingly uh, blissfully unaware of the interaction that you just had, saying that he would keep you safe for as long as he could while you were within the walls that you were. Eventually, you did wake up. After many attempts from the party to try and do so prior, we had the lovely efforts of Kipley throwing random objects on Mammoth while he was sleeping because of the strange field that was surrounding him. Um, we had Duradon spend roughly about 45 minutes running around the hall trying to find Wave so that he could look at him. And at the end of the day, he was alright. You did throw Mammoth onto the floor. It was funny. Except for the child. He did not enjoy it. As he woke up in a fugue state and then immediately went back to sleep. And the next morning, you had really the world to decide what you wanted to do. And you decided that it would be potentially good to get more bonding time in with some of your not so friendly and not so friendly compatriots, as Kipley and Mammoth took round 2 at getting their walkers, and Mustang taking the day off while Duradon once again merging with his own, just kind of reconnect and dive a little bit deeper into their connection. We saw that after presenting himself as a star druid and asking as ever so politely as you can to a massive German onion, that Mammoth did eventually break through and find a bond and an understanding with his own walker. The bond with Esclados and Duradon went well as well, where essentially he just sat about tuning into what would be the memories of the tree spirit before it perished, seeing nature roughly about what you could guess to be 200 years ago, and listening in some conversations of the nearby fauna. It didn't go great for everyone. Unfortunately, the saving throws that you succeeded and failed on can decide various different things. Um, and one of among us failed just about everyone, in the form of Kipley, as you went to try again at creating a bond with Mordred, the strange, fiendish being that lurks within the metal mask. You did form a connection, and you did form a bond, and you did fail the charisma saving throw for a second time, 5 under the DC, which gives him a little bit more power to physically manipulate you. Um, Now, the thing that sucks way more is you also failed an insight check on believing what this devil slash, excuse me, archdemon could do. And not knowing exactly to what extent his powers could reach outside of the armor, a not so great deal was made. Your first conscious deal with a patron warlock contract being written up. However, certainly not one that you were looking forward to, as at the end of the day, you did eventually get it on slightly better terms than what he was asking. But a pact has been made stating that if you try and leave this time without freeing him from this body, neither of you will leave alive. Very excited to see how that ends up. And you did try very hard to put him on layaway for a couple thousand years, and really had to think through that as a demon of like, hey, I've already been here for a few hundred, not doing that, gang. But I did appreciate the hustle. At the end, the group, now all 4 successfully having access over their walkers, felt a little bit more confident that you could deal with the outside world and the many things that comes with it. And we ended our session after we had just finished said bonding process, with Kipley, I believe, severely wounded? And not terribly so, but stabbed in the neck ever so slightly.
Oh, that's right.
As you normally are.
Yeah.
Mammoth standing happy and proud after flaunting the star druid nature. And Durdon getting pretty fucked up after realizing that his walker almost went rogue after he failed the charisma saving throw. And just as a reminder, because it's been a month, the reason that you make those wisdom and charisma saving throws every time is because these beings are exponentially stronger than you. And the higher level you get, the lower the DC and the less you'll have to make them. But for now, they're over double your CR, meaning that you have an understanding with them even after bonding. And depending on what you ask them to do, they may very well oblige. If you roll low enough, they very well might not. So, with all of that in mind, we will pick up our session there. It is still early in the morning. This all happened at the crack of dawn. We woke up from a new day. Mammoth was conscious. Everyone was having a blank on what you wanted to do, and this was what we decided to do at roughly 8 o'clock in the morning. We're going to call this a solid 9 o'clock in the morning now, after the hour of bonding time has been over. First things first, before we go to those who are there, Mustang. We will briefly go in a little bit of a time flashback to you
Oh,
for what was going on throughout that previous evening.
Mustang's day off. Is it really a day off?
Nine.
Tune in next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Freaky Friday.
Um, Going back to the previous evening, ever since you had that bonding moment, that opening up to a creature that was of similar nature, in a very similar sense to where you had that profound moment of speech, and actual dialogue with the Spark, back in both the Golden Cutlass, back on Port Cliff, where you had more than just a brief few words, and there was some vision, extension of someone else reaching out to you. Ever since Jan, the walker that you made your deal with, has left that presence, at least physically, from you leaving the armor behind, there has been this strange sense of unease that has sailed over you. And as you went to your quarters to try and deeper understand what exactly this might be, you found yourself almost instinctually locking the door behind you.
Ooh.
And going back in to the bathroom area, where he had laid out all those candles prior, and where there is little to no substances that can catch flame.
Oh.
Spent a number of hours just breathing. Something that you are unaccustomed to. Dealing with the understanding that very soon you may have to give up this semi-corporeal form for another by the pressure of wave. Feeling the pressure of the Spark not wanting you, for whatever reason, to take the deal with Jan. And at the same time, having such a reasonable elemental force try and communicate with you and be very upfront about what exactly they plan to both allow you to use their power and vice versa to harness yours. Certainly not a walk in the park for you. And beyond that unsettling feeling, as the day progressed, you began to feel these sensations grow. The first that you noticed was the breathing. As the smoke rises and falls, very much like lungs would be expanding. And a new sensation sparks to life, pun heavily intended.
Oh.
As the evening falls into night and the sleeplessness that always welcomes you slowly begins to burn away, as the candles around you, without you even noticing, begin to flicker on one by one. And you smell. Sensation that you haven't actually have had to go through before. At least not in a very long time. And as that smoke begins to go up in the air from the candles, you can almost taste it, adding into your own almost aroma, a new flavor of what you are already comprised of, but lighter, more gray than soot. And as these senses begin to pour in one by one, begin to hear the familiar voice of what you once spoke with before. now, Strums. Mustang, whatever you want to be called. You seem to be freaking the fuck out right now. I sure would be too. I just want you to know this is your own doing, partner. You signed yourself up for a joyride, and you didn't know exactly what you were going to get out of it, so... If you're really sending me up to a nice little farm somewhere, so what Wave character can just box me in a nice little prison for the rest of our days together, well, it's been nice. I hope you enjoy the new tenant. They seem to find it mighty. And then, almost like something is looking around for you. Like you see your head turn, almost instinctually looking around the room as your eyes open. Well, I hope you enjoy all this. Seeing if it was worth it.
Something about to happen, or can I respond?
No, you can respond.
You know, you're talking an awful lot like we got a bunch of good memories together. Like it's a damn shame that we go our separate ways, but I feel like all you've given me is trouble, and all I've given you is trouble.
All I've given you is life.
And
Without
it's
me,
been a
you'd
fuck
still
ton of
be in
trouble.
a grave. You would be nothing but a corpse without me. Your memory wouldn't even exist in time itself. You would be lost. Just another soul wandering the endless plain that no one dare travels to. I gave you a future, a potential purpose, and I kept you alive all those livelong years, and now, well, out with the old, I guess. Then you hear the secondary voice begin to creep in. Do not need to listen to this. Meaning to pull on heartstrings to try and keep you here. To keep you like this. Your identity is not for the sparks gives. It is what you have done with them during your time on this journey of yours. He could have given you these things all this time as well, but he chose not to. After we have met today properly, I want this to be a gift, welcoming gift of sorts. For being so open to our contract. You do recognize this is the voice of Jan.
Welcoming gift. Did not know that giant walkers were so mindful of their manners.
You forget what lies within the armor. Just as you, a pile of smoke, has so much within them. And in time, there will be more. As long as you share your flame with me, I can help you with your own gifts. As long as you are willing to accept them. And all of those sensations dull and fade. And and you're once again just existing in the present as you always have. The candles
Yeah.
around you dimming in flame. Is there anything that you would like to do or say?
Uh, Mustang, sensing that he is now by himself. Are the candles, are they still lit?
They are, but very dimly so. Before they were burning bright and the wax was actively beginning to collapse upon itself, but now it's simmered. No larger than a flame should be.
And Yan, he's gone?
Not to your knowledge. You didn't know he
Are we
was there
still
in
in
the
there?
first place, so he could very well be there, but you can definitely feel the spark's presence. After it had, after the golden cutlass, it's always been there. Not as something that you could interact with, but just as a looming kind of background noise almost.
Hmm.
That noise is just a little quieter.
Hmm. Okay, Spark is there. Yan's maybe not. I have words. So, Mustang, he kind of just. He's been sitting, trying to sit like how he thinks a monk would sit, which he doesn't really know. So it's kind of a terrible bastardization of like a lotus pose with his hands in he's got his fingers and his thumbs together and kind of gives that up and puts his head in his hands and shakes his head and Spark, you listening? You feel anything?
No immediate response.
Well, I know you're in there. And I want you to know this whole acting like we're friends gig ain't gonna get you far, because we ain't friends. You ain't been a friend to me. How many times have I needed your help? How many times did you keep your power to yourself when I could have used it? Save people who needed saving, help people who needed helping. If we were really friends, you would have been there. I don't think this Yan guy's my friend, but I know he sure as hell ain't watched me have to fall apart and pick myself up and put myself back together time and time again the way that you did and dragged out this long life that's supposed to be a gift. Well, I don't know. Corpses, they don't love, they don't feel, they don't do nothing, but at least they're not sad, they're not grieving, they're not hurting, they're just nothing. And sometimes that seemed better than what you gave me. So I don't understand where the gall, the gumption is coming from.
Go ahead, if you will. Make me a constitution saving throw.
Damn, he's gonna be like, oh, you want to run your mouth? With Glock your shit.
Because, let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
As Mustang is saying all of this, in this moment, as the words are leaving your mouth and the intention behind them seems true, is the attempt in Mustang's mind to draw out a spark for conversation, or is this to silence him?
No. It's to have a conversation. All he's ever wanted was to figure out what was going on inside him. All he ever wanted was just to know. He wants to talk.
Go ahead and make the saving throw with advantage.
Okay. It's going to be a 21.
21.
Yes.
You learned something new.
Yeah.
As you begin to get riled up over this, and you almost catch yourself by surprise with the genuine anger that comes with this new knowledge. You always knew that something was out of the usual, to say the very least. Even among magical effects, your state of being is so far beyond even astral projection. that whatever creature, whatever being blessed you, cursed you, or gave you this state that you call Mustang Strums had to be some sort of power. Something that was ancient, something that went beyond the norm, worked outside of what the Weave would call magic. And yet, after but a few hours of bonding with a creature who has existed for just shy, if not slightly equal to the amount of time the spark might have, it has given you gifts of things that it says the spark could have all of this time. You were reminded of all the people that you've watched suffer, and that all of your friends that you've tried to save repeatedly, some successful, some not. For a brief second, there is a trigger. A small, contained, but small, hissing sound coming from the center of your chest.
Boy.
You look down, and you immediately get a flashback to the dead and charred corpse
Oh, God.
of Doug the orc,
Oh.
and the horrific scene of the rolling cutlass around you. As that was the most recent of these explosions. You are unsure of what exact power or level of which this was just about to happen, but you get the understanding that with this kind of self fight, and especially with these newfound interested parties that are kind of taking up sides within you, there's most certainly some instability, to say the least. You don't get an immediate vocal response, but that small spark alone can be taken enough as an answer.
Oh, my ass, that's enough of an answer. Mustang is very mad. He's gonna kind of grab his own shirt where he felt the spark, and he's like, "You coward! Don't start that shit now!" And he kind of pulls out his clothes. Come on! Where were you? Where were you? For Jimena, Enola, Spoons, Matt, any of them? Where were you?
You get no response. The ash goes cool and dies down. The only heat that is left remaining is nothing but the cinders of your normal coal-like essence.
Motherfucker. He's gonna get up. He's gonna... Let's see. I don't think I have anything to extinguish fire. So he's just gonna walk out.
Walk out of the bathroom. The dim lighting, as you do, already fading, begins to slowly snuff out one by one, just leaving a small trail of smoke behind you. Anything that you'd like to do, or anyone you'd like to talk to for that evening?
I want to go find the people that are making my body.
Right. To your memory and to Ash's memory, the man, who Wave spoke about previously, said that he was on his way, and that he was 2 days out, and you spoke with
I
him
see.
a day ago. if not a day and a half ago, so he
I
should
did
be
not
arriving
realize
sometime soon.
he was also the body maker. My bad. Well, damn,
Correct.
he wants to talk to Duradon, but Duradon is occupado.
Well, howdy doody. My name is Durdon Bashala.
Um, I think he'll probably. Who will he go talk to? He's feeling very conflicted because no one has exactly demonstrated reliability as one of their strong suits, so he's not really sure who to turn to. I think after a while of mulling it over and pulling out his metaphorical hair, he just can't take it anymore. He's gonna storm out of his room and he's gonna try and find Kipley.
As you go, do you open the door first or do you walk through it?
No, he's walking through it.
Perfect. As you walk out of frame, literally, out of the door frame, and you go to enter the hallway, you pass through the door fine. But the second that your foot would hit what would be the tiles outside, you hit something. And you see current trident in hand with the three prongs pointing at your chest, Wave standing there in the complete dead night of the darkness. 'Cause this is like 3 a.m. You see him standing there in the complete darkness of the hallway, only the slightest bit of moonlight breaking through one of the nearby windows, kind of cutting half of his frame into your view. And you see him, not a word, just stand there and look at you up and down. And take a step back and gesture for you to get out of the door before you do have that moment where you're like, oh fuck, and you feel the force damage about to come as you're beginning to tear open.
He will step all the way out and be like, "Whoa, Wave! Front of my door in the middle of the night. What's Aldrin gonna think?"
Gee, I wonder, why do I have a hole in my palace?
A hole? He starts looking around for said hole.
He is just very straight-faced, just staring directly at you. You would think, with how much we've discussed about this topic, you would have some confidence in my ability to know when you're about to explode. Or how would you like to put it? Talking
I
with
don't.
yourself.
Explode is fine. I know why you're here, Wave. God forbid a guy try to be funny while he's falling apart.
Well, we did have this discussion not but a few hours ago, that you should not try and do anything until you meet the contact of mine, and yet here we are.
Yeah, wasn't it you who told us that we should go connect with those big old walkers? Because that's kind of what started this all here.
That's perfectly fine. That was what Ultron requested, and you did so. And you seemed fine afterwards, and yet here you are.
Are you worried about me, Wave? That's real sweet.
I think you're making a lot of jokes because you're either covering up your inability to deal with current events, or something that you just found out. Maybe both. Would you like to share?
Not particularly. I think that's why I'm making jokes, is that I think you want something from me that I don't really want to give you right now.
And that would be what just happened in that room.
Yeah, and I'm not saying never, I'm just saying not now.
I'm saying you just broke the one word that I was holding you accountable for.
I didn't have a say in it. They just showed up, okay? Had it been up to me, I would have told them, wait. But it
They.
wasn't.
What do you mean they?
You're a big old robot. Yeah. Lancelot. He's in here too.
Kind of raises an eyebrow. Explain. And he gestures his head back towards the door.
Oh, Wave. I would love to have you in there under different circumstances, but if this is what it takes, he's gonna. He'll walk back to the door.
Go ahead and just make me a general charisma check.
Oh,
Oh, damn.
oh my god.
Poor Mustang.
Bro cannot get a win.
18?
18. Okay. You may be an insight check, if you will.
Okay. 23?
23 definitely goes over the passive persuasion and deception. As you turn to go back into your room, there is the slightest moment where you can see, like, not genuine shock, but like a little like, what the fuck? Look on Wave's face as that last statement kind of blurted out. He doesn't look flustered, most certainly not interested, but also at the same time 100% caught off a being who has lived for an extremely long period of time with that statement. As he now like tries to push past you to get in the door, but you phased through the door, so I'm assuming it's still locked.
Oh, yeah, it is still locked. And he's
Yeah,
gonna
so
wait a
he-
few seconds to let it
He
sink in.
goes and opens the door, and it doesn't turn. It silently waits for you to unlock it. You don't get to it. You hear him mutter a word, and the door just clicks open. And he just walks through. In a little bit
Mustang.
more of a hurried pace than he did originally.
Mustang's very satisfied. He's that is more fun than he could have hoped for with Wave.
Yeah, everything that isn't a normal humanoid is on the fucking table, apparently.
And Mustang's he knows what he likes. He knows what he likes.
Even the human-looking ones. See, Wave goes and sits down. He goes up to the bar, which the bartender currently isn't there. And he just straight up grabs a drink and just quickly takes a nip. You don't get to see exactly what it is because of how dark it is and how quick it is, but he does grab a glass, downs something, and then goes and sits down just for you to sit across from him.
What's your poison of choice there, Wave?
This is not a discussion about what I am looking for. Or what I... This is not a discussion
could be.
about what I am doing tonight. That is what you are talking about. So you bonded with the Walker, Lancelot, and there's a being inside called Jan who is now in your head.
Oh, it's Lancelot.
Right.
According to said being, I don't know how suspicious I need to be.
And what exactly? They get into... They triggered something within you?
Yeah, it was kind of like poking a hole in an already very leaky barrel.
Why was it something they said, or did they force something on you? Spell
None of the-
effect, feeling.
No, just the normal bonding, making of the contract, which seems to be the status quo for these walkers, but I have to imagine that the overwhelming magic of it all might have been a little much, again, for the aforementioned already leaky barrel.
It had nothing to do with the spark then. Just already unstable as it is. Adding water to the leaky barrel.
I would have to doubt not, because I've been doing this for hundreds of years, and the spark, it hasn't really been doing all that it could. Is it probably a little jealous, a little mad that I am making it share some living space up here with somebody else? Probably. This seems to be the possessive sort. Might have pissed him off, made him show up.
What exactly do you mean by that? Not doing all that it could.
Oh, well, I mean, you see, I am not blowing up now. There are times when I could have really, really, really used being so explosive. And there are other times where I did not want to be that explosive. And obviously, the spark is not interested in what I care about and what I feel. So it was not doing all it could.
You do know only a matter of time until one of your booms is your final one, right?
Yeah, I fear that you'd have to be a blind man to not see that writing on the wall.
So you should be thankful that it hasn't blown up so many times in the past, or you wouldn't be here.
Oh, so I should be thanking the spark now, huh?
I'm saying that you are in a very unfortunate circumstance to already begin with, asking more of something that is as volatile as a spark is. It's not exactly healthy at the moment.
Well, anything the spark could have given me that I wanted, their chance has long since passed. So you do not need to worry. Good old wave. It's fine.
You said this voice was called Jan. What are
Uh-huh.
some of the things that it said? Did it promise you anything? Ask you anything? Demand anything?
Ask? Yes. Demand? No. I sense they are trying to take a more diplomatic approach, to exist in some sort of dichotomy with the current tyrant that reigns over my existence. But I mean, is this not normal? I thought you all would be the resident experts on these things.
I haven't heard one give its name before. And it sounds like it's speaking in your head when you're outside of the walker. Which means that something went wrong when you first tried to do it. And it's already deeper than you think it is into your mind. I'd be very careful with this creature. Even if it seems to be diplomatic, that's because it wants something.
Couldn't agree more.
Things have been out for hundreds of years for a reason. Not just as weapons, but some of them as prisons, chains to hold things we don't normally have the capability to kill, can at least bind. I didn't make them, so I don't know exactly what might be inside of Lancelot. But if it's even a hint of what I think it might be, tread very carefully.
What's your hint that you think it might be? Just so we're on the same page here. I feel like we'd both be served well if we were equipped with the same knowledge.
brushes himself off and stands up. It seems we both like to withhold information every now and then. Have a good night, Mustang.
Oh, Wave. Don't be coy now.
Walk.
Come on. My sweet cornflower. Don't do this.
You can hear footsteps walking away as the boots hit the tile. And you were left alone. At this point, roughly 3:30-ish in the morning.
Wave. You tease. Bastard. Alright. And he's gonna go back to trying finding. What do you even want to find Kipley right now? Yeah, I mean, she's undead. She's not sleeping.
Before you get up to go, that same presence of what you have with the spark, you get almost a secondary one that you have never felt before. I'm going to go ahead and ask you for not a wisdom saving throw, but just a wisdom check.
Another
Whatever
one.
your raw wisdom is.
Another one. A 13.
13. Okay.
The luck's falling off a little bit.
You get the strong impression that whoever this creature was and or is that is taking residence within your mind was 100% squaring up, if not taking in Wave, not just for you humoring his physical form, but was very much, you felt something that was calculating.
I don't like that. Nobody gets to step on the cornflower except for me.
That's all. You want to go find Kipley?
Yep.
So luckily this doesn't disturb the events of the story too much, as Mammoth has already woken up and gone to sleep. And by this time, you spend about, I don't know, so like 20 minutes trying to find Kipley before you realize that she's not in her room. And you check all the other rooms and she is not there. And eventually you go to Mammoth's room, where you can see a very tired, even for undead, tired looking bat kind of curled up in a ball, just kind of staring, eyes almost like daggers, at a sleeping mammoth who is slightly, like, looks a little rough. Hair's a bit tousled. He's currently sleeping on a bed that's 2 couches pushed together and very much sunken in the middle, and his face is facing down towards the floor.
Oh my god.
And you can see there's some pillows that are still on the floor as well. Even with some low insight, you can probably guess that at some point recently, within the past couple of hours, probably moved between floor and couch. But you see Durdon is in there as well, currently sleeping. And Kipley,
Yeah.
as far as I believe, is still awake, correct?
Yeah, probably.
Well, if Kipley is staring at Mammoth, maybe she sees, maybe she doesn't, but Mustang's gonna poke his head through the door, kind of see what's going on. And as soon as he sees that there's a bunch of people sleeping in here, he's gonna pull his head out and turn around.
Sure. You make your way back to your room.
I mean, if Kipley sees and tries to stop him, he'll stop. But if she's dialed in on Mammoth, then like he doesn't want to wake anyone up. He knows he's got a lot of bullshit that he's lugging around right now, and if people are sleeping, now's just not the time.
Go ahead, make me go ahead, make me a stealth check, Mustang. Say
Sure.
with advantage because you were just poking your head for a door.
22.
22. Go ahead, and make me a perception check, Kipley.
No. Oh. Oh, I rolled a natural 20 for a 22.
So you peek your head in, and you realize that there are many amongst those in that room that are sleeping, and you pull your head out. And Kipley, as you're kind of focused on Mammoth, and just kind of like a very paternal just sensation of taking care of the poor child who's been woken up from his sleep, thrown on the floor, weird magical glyphs. You have no idea what really happened to him at this point. And you don't see it, but you just hear the slightest little, almost, it's like a pocket of air that has quickly been vacated. Just the slightest bit of a gust when your ears perks up, and just barely out of the corner of your eye, you see that red glow from Mustang's eyes vanish into the doorway, and you can hear footsteps walking away.
Ooh. With Doradon in the room, she immediately, like, just sweeps to her feet, goes to the door, opens it, slips outside, pokes her head out, closes it, looks down the hall. It's just like, hey! Mustang!
Mustang, when he hears the hiss of a whisper, he like stops dead in his tracks and kind of slowly turns his head to look over his shoulders and just stares like he's been caught doing something he shouldn't have.
Where the fuck are you going?
Back to my room.
Yeah, why did you come here?
He's been rigid this whole time, stuck in this pose that he froze in, and with the ask of why he came here, he just deflates. He kind of slouches and sighs and straightens back out. I wish I could tell you, Kipley. I don't know. I guess I just didn't want to be alone.
Oh. Well, come in then. You don't have to be.
Everyone's so asleep in there.
Yeah, I've been sitting in there, just staring. It's fucking boring.
You want to go on a walk?
Yeah?
You might get in trouble. You okay with that?
You kind of see her eyes go a little, just, you see this expression of slight crazed laughing in the eyes of, yeah, sure. And she just kind of shrugs. Yeah, you know what? How much trouble can we get in? We were sent into the past because we were in trouble. And now we can't go back until, we get out of trouble.
You know, maybe if we get more trouble, they'll send us to the future. I'm just kidding. Let's not do that. Let's not do it.
I'd like to go home. But, yeah, let's go for a walk.
We're going to do it the right way. Yeah. Screw these sleepy heads. Let's get out of here.
Well, I like them, but...
I say it with love.
Okay.
the best bonds are tempered with a little bit of razzing here and there. Come on, Kimberly. He's gonna start walking in any random direction. I guess. I mean, yeah, yes, any random direction.
Roll a d4 for me.
Sure. 3. My favorite number.
3. You go and take a left, and then take another left, and you're just walking, for at least for the moment, into the westward side of the palace. Just kind of heading off in a direction of the halls that you haven't ventured in before. But they're long enough that you have plenty of time to walk and talk until you find out where your destination ends.
Do you think people actually live in these rooms?
Hell no. Aldrin and Wave, I think if people actually lived here, it'd be a massacre every day. They're 2 Scrooges, the both of them.
I kind of felt like Aldrin was more of a Scrooge in the future than now.
But he's like a Scrooge to the power of 10 in the future.
It's just so
Think we caught him in a good
pretentious
mood.
having such a big place like this with no use for it.
I agree. How many people might be living on the streets? And there's all these empty rooms here.
So, how are you really? You've seemed so, kind of on edge. I know we've kind of been through a lot, and, you were kind of pissed off about things, and honestly, I was afraid you'd kind of had it with all of us, but how are you?
Well, I don't think there's really any place to be right now other than the edge. I feel that we might all be a little bit on edge, and that's only fair. Like you said, we've all been through a lot, and have I had it with you guys? No. No, of course not. Have I had it with all the bullshit that you guys get up to? Maybe a little bit. But this is not to say that my shit doesn't stink. Of course it does.
So, what did you want to go on a walk for?
I think I just wanted to get out of my room, stretch my legs, see some friendly faces after getting scowled at all day. Speaking of, what did you guys get up to?
Oh, well, we tried, the whole bonding with the robots thing again.
Oh, how'd it go?
Not great.
Oh,
Yeah.
how not great.
I don't really know. I think, I might have made another deal. But
Oh boy.
yeah,
You sure?
no, yeah, I am. I
Okay.
am.
Oh,
I'm
damn it.
sure.
Can't keep my hopes up like that, Kimberly.
Well, it was. I didn't really know what else to do, and it was kind of literally to the point of, either I made the deal or he was gonna kill me, and I guess I chose life.
Something about the past having a way with life or death ultimatums is growing far too common.
It
to my
happens a
liking.
lot. Like a lot. I never
How many
heard.
is that? 3?
Like, yeah, I read books and stuff, and I don't hear people going through this kind of bullshit all the time.
Speaking of which, Mustang.
Oh man.
Go ahead. No. Go ahead and make me a I will allow her a history check with advantage.
Ooh, all right. Blast of the past. What do we got? What do we got? 16.
16? Okay. So almost like on cue, as Kipley says, heard many different stories and rumors before. Thinking back to your deal with Jan and the day prior and having that understanding and moment, and you had a diplomacy. You kind of link together part of what Wave just said. The fact that some of these beings are dead, like Escaldos is the body of a tree spirit that has passed on. Some of which are alive, some of you are like made out of parts, but some of these are prisoners. Some of them are bound, and are very much so could be limited in power. So while Kipley says that as a kind of like a outwardly motion, it does concern you a little bit that she would say that and believe it. So, to the best of your understanding, they shouldn't have that ability.
Okay. Caitlin,
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you this. You gotta promise me you're not gonna make a big deal of it, okay?
Oh, okay. She kind of squares up to you. All right.
Okay. You squaring up to me right now is making it a big deal. Just
Oh,
relax.
oh, sorry. Shakes her shoulders out, arms kind of flailing. Right, relaxed.
That's right.
Relaxed.
There you
Okay.
Talking with Wave tonight, just a few minutes ago. He was telling me about the walkers. Now, there's three things they can be. They can be dead, they can have parts of something, or they can be prison.
Okay.
I had to reckon what yours was. It's trying to make deals with you. I reckon that it's a prison.
Okay.
And what Wave was saying, they shouldn't really be able to do what they're doing to you specifically. So, maybe you want to tell Wave?
To tell him what?
What happened to you?
Why?
You might be able to help.
Like, break the deal?
I don't know if it was just me, but you just totally cut out.
Oh, break the deal?
Oh, well, I don't know. I just know that if we're left to our own devices here, what option do you have but fulfilling your bargain? Which, what exactly did he ask of you?
Um, you know, he wants, you know, what every person bound, you know, and chained away wants. She's kind of like looking down at her own hand, picking at something.
Kipley,
Yeah?
say it.
He wants to be free.
Oh, God. God damn it, man. Okay. I don't think that's gonna fly.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think
So,
this was a really bad deal. But... And she kind of looks at you now and raises a hand, like, towards her neck. She did not bother cleaning herself up. She's, like, covered in blood.
oh
See
my.
an assortment of dried blood covering the right about where the jugular normally would be. Would normally be like a killing blow. You can see a number of number of small kind of holes in Kipley's neck. And now you can see it, especially like lit by the moonlight. There's the slightest glint of a kind of semi-translucent collar around her neck.
Oh, oh, that is so not good. That is really, really bad. He freaking
Yeah, I know.
popped you like a water skin. I didn't even know you still had blood in there.
Well, of course, yeah. Yeah. But it's alright.
You gotta stop saying that when it's not alright.
No, it's fine. It is. We're gonna do what we came here to do. And, you know,
Kipley,
we really don't make plans.
oh, we're trying to change that. Sticking our heads in the sand about the consequences of our actions is not gonna work anymore. Especially when you've got the whole future on the line. We really need to mind our P's and Q's here.
I didn't know what else to do.
No, I'm not.
They weren't
You did what
believing
you had
me.
to. You did what you had to. That's not the issue. That's you did what you needed to survive, and I would never ever ask you to do anything differently. You did everything that you could. You did everything right. I would never ask you to sacrifice yourself like that.
What did you do? How did you convince them?
With a shake of the hand, our experiences were very different.
A fucking shake of the hand. Yeah, do. Mine's like crazy insane.
I think they're all a little crazy. Yours is just very upfront about it. But on our own, against these things, our only option is to fulfill the deal. So we can't keep this to ourselves. We're going to need help.
The robots were supposed to be our help. Who else are we gonna ask for help from?
That's why I'm saying we need to talk to Wave.
You think Wave's gonna help us? Wave hates you.
Maybe. I wouldn't go so far. He did come to my room just now.
She kind of pauses a moment and her head tilts a bit, ears twitch. Wait, what?
That's right, you heard me.
Yeah, why are you
Dead of the
saying
night.
it like that?
Because I'm just trying to find a little nugget of gold rooting around in this shit bucket here. It was not like that.
But you sound like you want it to be.
Maybe I do. Maybe just a little bit. God's forbid, man wants to have a little eye candy while he's staring down the end of the world.
Well, you'd be staring down the end of a weapon.
I was. It was epic.
She kind of raises an arm and just kind of like rests a hand on your on your shoulder, like in a supportive manner. You can, go for anyone you please. We will be fully supportive. And, if you need help, I'm happy to be your wing person.
Why do you sound so hesitant about being my wing individual?
I've never been someone's wing before.
Well, I suppose you have a sort of esoteric charisma about you, Miss Kipley, if you were able to bag someone like Vince the Prince. That is no easy feat.
Yeah, I don't really know how that happened. Honestly, there's a small part of me that's a little afraid that, maybe something darker was... I don't know. I'm just...
Wait, what?
I think I'm looking
No,
for
okay.
shit where it doesn't really belong, and we're here to deal with, you know, a mischief goddess, whatever, monarch. Okay. Okay. What can we do in the moment?
He holds up his wave bell.
Oh, okay. Let's go talk to Wave. You need.
He rings his wave bell.
You ring it.
Yeah.
A few moments pass. No response.
You know, maybe you should do it.
What? Wave the ring? Oh, okay. She takes it and just starts shaking the shit out of it.
You take Mustangs and shake it?
I don't. Do I have a bell?
Yeah, everyone has.
Yeah, we all do.
Oh, yeah, no, she takes Mustangs.
You take Mustangs, you ring it. Nothing happens.
Maybe try it
She
with
just
yours.
tosses it on the ground. Oh,
Oh,
okay,
hey, God
okay.
damn it.
Picks hers up. Starts ringing it.
You ring it, he is immediately by your side. You immediately see just kind of this almost like spray of mist. And almost appearing like he is walking out of it. You just see the form of Wave before you, looking ever so annoyed. I did say
Mustang
that
has
you
no
could.
mouth.
I did say that you could use these if you needed anything while you were within the castle. Does not mean that you need anything. This better be good.
I mean, it's conversation.
That is
You are
reductive.
here to talk. You have each other, and I have many things I need to get done.
It has to do with the walkers.
Kind of gives you like a he gives you the most devious side eye of like, what did you do? Like very much like when you look at something, look away from someone for like 2 seconds and something immediately falls or breaks. Just, what did you do? Just, what about the walkers specifically?
Lay it on him, Kipley. Now's the time. Get to the chase.
I don't know if I want to.
Kipley, we cannot handle this on our own.
Fine. My walker wanted me to make a deal with them, and I did. He was going to kill me if I didn't. She kind of gestures to her neck. I don't know what to do about it.
Kind of gets a slightly inquisitive look. I mean, he gestures for you to take a step forward as he does like like a scholar's lean forward with both hands behind his back, just kind of ever so slightly leaning in, but just barely. Take a closer look at the collar.
As he leans forward, Kipley kind of lifts her chin a bit, and her eyes drop to look at him. She just kind of whispers, "You know, I really liked Haruma. We got on quite well."
You see, as his eyes are focused on your neck, and the assortment of blood and varying icicle-esque substances, his eyes dart down to meet yours for a brief moment. And it's not disdain necessarily, but it's certainly not pleasantries. He just kind of flicks for just but a moment before immediately returning to the collar. Right. You said that it was going to kill you if you didn't make a deal with it.
Yep.
And you did, I'm assuming, go through with the deal.
Well, yeah.
Congratulations, Miss Kipley. You have been properly swindled.
Great.
Those bounds are there for a reason. Even if they are to break or fail, these creatures cannot fully extend their will outside of whatever. I'm not going to pretend I understand the entirety of it, but physical and mental prison is within the armor.
Well, that would have been nice to know before we started this.
I'm almost certain that you would have been told this beforehand.
No.
Did Noelle forget
No.
to mention?
Yeah. Must have slipped her mind. I understand. It's fine.
Right, she did warn you of the dangers going into this, I presume.
Oh, yes. But we were also warned of the dangers of our only course of action moving forward, so... you know, what choice did we have? It's fine.
Right. Well, you made the contract, and it would take both the patron and the warlock to agree in order to remove said contract. How you would be able to do that on your own terms is up to you. I could try to brute force it. It would do almost nothing and waste a spell that I may never be able to cast again. I'm going to leave this be for now, as it is not pressing. And I think you should probably, for someone that is as silver of tongue as they are, maybe keep in mind there are others like you who are very much willing to do or say anything to get what they want.
Great. This has been so helpful. Thank you. Do you want your bell back?
This is a use for it. It's fine.
So
Your
you...
conversation isn't, but I can see how this can be substituted as a problem.
So, okay. She drops her hand holding the bell out and tucks it back into her belt
You
loop.
want to try and renegotiate? That's going to have to be done for your own will, power, and wit. Not much that we can do on our end. However, now that you've made a deal with it, it very well may have the ability to kill you. Before, it would probably severely injure you at best. So, that's not exactly like it's on empty threats at the moment. You let it in, it probably has free reign to whatever you offered it.
Alright, well... Good to know.
And please don't go making deals with demons or devils in the meantime. It never ends well. Unless they are substantially weaker than you.
Yeah. No, deals with angels and gods and monarchs, those work out so well as well.
You see his face already was at resting bitch face, just drops even more. But mind you're alive because of one.
Yeah, I'm also in the shit because of one.
I think that's enough. I think, Wave, thank you for helping us. Appreciate it. Hope you have a lovely rest of your night. Kipley, look at that. Now we know more than we did 2 minutes ago.
Kipling gives 2 thumbs up.
He gives 2 thumbs up back, with like there's stress in his eyes.
And
Careful. And he just evaporates into mist.
Oh God.
I'm sorry. I
So
can't
much for
help
wing
it.
individual.
That shit. I can't help it. You know, for as much as I lie, sometimes the opposite is true. Just the truest shit just comes out. I can't help it.
It's okay. It's a part of your esoteric charisma that I mentioned before. It's fine. But now we know more than we did. Doesn't necessarily make me feel any better.
But did you see the way he was looking at you? Oh.
Yes, he's very handsome, isn't he?
Yeah, no, I think he has a thing for you.
Oh, goodness gracious. Maybe one day when he turns red instead of blue. That's how I'll know.
All right.
You know, Kipley, I don't think he'll ever go anywhere, but I will keep trying for your and my entertainment.
That's so sweet.
You know, gotta try and find what little joy we can in this horrendous shit pile of deals and monarchs and people sticking their thumbs in our pie.
Mustang.
Yeah.
Thank you for sticking with us. I know it was a rocky start and we kind of dragged you into a lot. But you've really been through the shit with us. And you stuck with it. Even if you didn't agree with anything. And you know, we've disagreed on a lot of things, but thanks. I haven't had a lot of people that have kind of stuck with it, and that means a lot.
See, he's kind of got his hands, like his arms plastered against his sides, and he drums his fingers against his thighs. Yeah, that's not a problem at all. And you see kind of the plane of his face where his cheeks of a bridge of a nose would be kind of starts to glow a little bit as he gets a little flustered. You know, it's you guys are real swell. He kind of
Wow.
punches the air a little bit.
I appreciate the effort.
Kipley, I'm not so good with this kind of stuff, but even if it is hard for me to say it, you know, maybe we don't always do well, but I know that we all mean well, and that can get you pretty far in my book. But I'm also happy that we're committed to putting a little more of a concerted effort into meaning well and doing well.
I can promise you I tried so hard to get out just long enough to at least discuss it with you all, but I could not get the fuck out of whatever he was doing. Like that, it was really rough.
I believe you, Kipley. And he kind of reaches down and he pats her on the shoulder. I think that you wouldn't do anything to put us in harm's way. Not anymore. I think we're well past that. You did what you had to.
Oh, you see her ears kind of fold back a bit. She kind of pushes some hair back.
Oh,
Right, so we should go back. Or no, did
you
you
okay?
want to do more walking?
I'll probably keep walking, but I can take you back to Mammoth's room. Why'd you just shrink?
I didn't shrink. I'm like same size. She just kind of grumbles as she starts walking back towards the room.
Oh, did I say something?
What? Oh.
Oh.
Why did... Did you want me to come with you?
No. Let me walk you back. It's the least I can do. He's kind of like left spinning, stunned at the sudden 180.
Oh, Mustang. It's okay. It's gonna be alright.
Uh, I'm fine.
She kind of gives you like a... Sure.
He blinks hard. You can hear the SpongeBob sound effect, the squishing sound effect.
You know...
But-
You should probably talk to Mammoth.
Oh,
Hmm.
did not go well for him either.
Well, I mean, I think he was thrown off the 100-foot tall onion thing.
Again?
Well, no, just the first time, but before that, two of you were kind of... Eh.
It's a difficult position to be in. I'm still not so sure that we're a good fit for him. As you see, he just fell off a 100-foot tall giant walker.
Do you think that's your decision or his? She looks at you like with honest curiosity.
I think that is a question that doesn't quite have two answers. I think that Mammoth is very powerful, and I think that Mammoth is sometimes a little more mature than his years, but at the end of the day, he's still a kid. And what we get up to, this ain't childhood, what we're doing here. And to strip someone of something so essential, something so formative, and replace it with war and violence and dealing with monarchs, getting sent back in time, falling off of walkers, doesn't sit right with me. That's not what kids should be doing. And he's a druid. His life is going to be long. He's got so many years to do all this shit. But he doesn't have forever to just be a kid.
How old are you?
A few 100 years old at least.
I was 6 when my parents murdered my brother.
Holy shit. That would effectively end your childhood, I imagine.
What about
Would-
watching your parents and everything you've lived be sucked into the ocean? Do you think that would end your childhood?
I think it would. For most people.
I think you and Mama should talk.
I don't disagree.
Kippley takes a step forward and just, like, wraps her arms around Mustang weirdly. Not sure if her arms are gonna go through and like squish the clothes into nothingness. So she just kind of does this weird like arms around, just encircled. And then takes a step back.
He will. How tall is Kipley?
Like 5'6", I think. Shit. Yes, 5'6".
Okay, I had to make sure. I seem to recall Mustang towering over her quite significantly, but I wasn't sure by how much. Okay, so Mustang, he kind of leans down while you're hugging him, and he hugs her back, and she goes to step away, but it's just kind of met with the back of his arms. He doesn't really want to let go, but kind of realizing that, you know, it's not necessarily his choice. He lets go. Have you talked with him?
Do I need to?
You don't need to do anything. I was just curious. What you might have said to him.
I talked to him some.
And
I just love him. I think
that's a gift.
I think he's, you know, trying to find his way. And I think we're his family at the moment. And sometimes you just need to be able to lean on your family.
I guess that's where I'm having trouble. That when I think of all of us, I say this with respect and care. Dependable isn't exactly the first word that comes to mind.
Us? All of us? Or
Yeah,
some of us
kinda.
in particular?
No, all of us. I had to describe the six just as a whole. I'd say dependable. It's not exactly been our forte. And as a kid, you need stability, something solid you can lean on because you yourself are so malleable.
So, you think he'd be better off with others?
Maybe. I wouldn't exactly describe any of us as good influence.
No, probably not.
Think about the childhood I had. Maybe I wasn't necessarily a child, but it was the closest thing I had to it. Just taught me about the way of the world and what I care about and what I value and what I don't. And I think if I didn't have that, I would have done a lot more harm in my life than I have. My track record ain't exactly clean, but it would be way, way dirtier had I not been raised the way I was.
Do you?
I just want the same for him.
What kind of people do you think succeed in this life? Because I'm going to be honest with you. The only people really making it off are the truly fucking awful ones. The ones who will stab you in the back for namesake. Or for family history, like... I don't give a shit about all of your past. I'm here for all of you. And yeah, maybe some of our past, get in the way at times, but... Do you think anyone else on Paradise Peak is gonna stand in front of a fucking monarch for Mammoth? Because I would. Doradon would. You would.
The whole point is that he shouldn't need to be shielded from that sort of thing in the first place. He shouldn't be in that position where he needs to be protected like that. He should be off enjoying himself, learning about what it means to be a person and what it means to live in the world that we live in.
Mammoth, we live in a world where our homes are being sucked into nothing. Where there's just chaos reigning. Two different vying groups of powerful beings just going at each other. Everyone else is that seems normal. They're just faking it. Like everything that they're doing, the lives they're living, it's just an illusion. It's just an illusion that hasn't disappeared yet. At least when ours is taken from us, at least we'll know why.
I understand where you're coming from, Ghibli. That, as inhospitable as we are, the world is not much more so itself. But you can see where this is troubling to try and wrap my head around because he's 8. He's 8. It'd be one thing if we were talking about someone who is, maybe 12, 13, 14, but he is 8. To put all these lies that we have to deal with on an 8-year-old. It's a hard concept for me.
It is. I mean, it's not like we're walking around looking for children to join our group.
I'm not saying that. think we're gonna do anything like that, but the fact of the matter is that we do have a child here with us, and I, for a time,
Highly
forgot about that, and that was a
talented.
sore mistake.
Oh, I don't think it was a mistake at all.
Forget that he was a child. Do you hear yourself?
Usually.
This is exactly why I said that I'm not sure we're really fit to be a family. You can't forget that an 8-year-old's a kid.
Hmm. I still think you should talk to him.
I'm not saying that I won't. I will. Of course I will. But I don't know what I would say. And
Well, I mean, avoiding him doesn't really make the problem go away either.
I'm not avoiding him. It's just been unfortunate happenstance.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds legit.
Sometimes I'm not sure if I want to laugh or if I want to cry.
You can do both.
But
I
either
do
way,
it
I
all the time.
don't think I'm quite there yet. But either way, you crack me up. I see where you're coming from, and I will keep it in mind when I do go to talk with him. And I won't make any choices for him, but I'm going to try and make him see my side.
As we all would.
Great. Okay. We're able to hash that out.
That was fun.
It was. You know, Kipling, you are a very keen of mind, and I always like that about you. You're as sharp as a tack, quick as a whip.
Yeah. I hear that a lot. Very smart, very wise.
I wouldn't go that far. You're smart,
That's,
but
you
you're not
know.
wise.
Alright, we head back to back to the room.
Okay. Do you both head back to the same room, or you go to your separate?
No, he's going to walk her to her room, and then he will go back to his own room. He does not want to hang out with a bunch of sleeping bodies.
Yeah, as you walk away, Kipley just peeks back out and just says, "Coward," before she closes the door.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
It is. Go ahead and roll me a stealth check, Kipley.
Oh, Kipley.
About to wake everyone up.
You scream, coward.
11?
Um, your version of sneaking back in is opening the door, shouting coward, and then trying to sneakily close it, and it does the you are fully clocked by Duradon, who just has like one eye open. Doesn't say anything, just kind of gives you like an acknowledgement stare before closing his eye again. But it is known that you have not been here, or that you've come back. Mammoth, however, fully deep sleep doesn't seem to be awoken at this immediate moment in time.
Yeah, she just goes over, finds whatever blanket she can and just drapes it over Mammoth, and then probably pulls the blanket off of Zyrus to put it over Mammoth.
Oh, Zyrus is not in the room.
Okay. Then disregard. She just grabs the blanket and puts it over Mammoth.
You do notice that Duradon is there, but you have not actually seen Zyrus tonight.
Okay. And she'll just curl up on the floor.
As you do, and you kind of settle into the blank stare into the abyss that you've become ever so used to in the waking hours of the night. Go ahead and make me a Constitution saving throw, please.
Yeek.
Yeah.
It's a 6.
Fantastic. Two new things for our two new undead fellows. As you lie on the floor, whether by your own choice or another, you end up falling asleep. Dreamless sleep. An unusual occurrence for Ghibli. Normally being haunted by one dream or another tends to pop in and out through some other influence, will, or your own desire to try and reach out to a patron or a fellow traveler in the world of the undead, like Vander. However, in the world timeline, as a new dawn begins to rise, it has been roughly about a month and a half to 2 months since the events of Portcliff have transpired. Now, Kipple, you wake up before anyone else does, because you didn't actually take a long rest with this sleep. Whatever this state wasn't forced, certainly wasn't magical. But as you wake up the next morning, you find yourself starving. There is this almost near, like, body slightly shaking, feeling like you are already conveniently curled up on the floor, like you would get into that position if you weren't there already, and you just feel beyond hungry, and you have no idea why.
I mean, she would get up and immediately start looking for food.
You kind of like, just desperately trying to sniff out anything in the room. You do see there's a number of travel bags from your companions here who all carry rations of different sorts.
No, fuck the rations.
What are you gonna try and go for?
If there's nothing openly out in the open, she's going to start roaming. And
You start roaming.
Mhm.
So you leave the room behind, close the door. Mammoth, go ahead and make me a perception check. Okay. What is your passive stealth, Kipley? 12. Okay. In this state, you are not exactly thinking about stealth first, rather than trying to get to your current objective. So you do, even with a 13, notice that Kipley is not so sneakily slinking out of the room early in the morning. And Mammoth, you notice the already kind of gaunt form of Kipley, just from what glimpse you do catch, looks even more slim as she slips out of your sight and out into the morning. You find yourself racing down the hall, trying to find anything, and you can just feel it. unlike previous hunger pains that you've had in the past, it feels like your entire body is weak. Opposed to a stomach rumbling and shaking, it feels like you are on the edge of yearning something so badly that you are about to fall apart. You begin to scrape and run and almost sprint down the hallway into the tiled floors, to the point of which we're halfway through. You just say "fuck it" and the wings open, and before you can even think about it, you are flying through the hall at a breakneck pace, rapidly looking for anything in sight. Trying to satiate wherever the hell this is. Maybe if we're gonna try and give chase, or you let her go.
I mean, he'd get out of bed and kind of like walk and open the door, and if he's still in, or if she's still in like sight range or whatever, I'd probably try to follow.
You look down the hallway and you can see a blip at the end of the hallway as Kipley, wings out, is full dashing down the hall. Like, it is still a pretty long hallway. This corridors are massive, so you can absolutely see her, but she's like a good 100 feet away.
Am I like back to normal? Like
In
like
terms
metaphysically,
yeah, your
or is
body's
my body
fine.
still fucked?
No,
Okay.
you wake up in the morning, you feel absolutely fine. After spending the day recovering, after bonding with with your walker, and then just kind of taking the afternoon and evening to yourself, yeah, you feel fine.
Okay. I'm gonna run after her.
You take off in a sprint. What's your movement speed?
65.
Is it pretty feet? 65, that's right, because you have the that's right, I forgot. You got a little boost. Yeah, so that's with a dash though, right?
No,
How is it 65 walking speed?
because it was a 1d4 on the like with the deck of many things. I got crazy movement
Oh,
speed. I
that's
got an extra 40
right.
movement speed and puts me at 65.
I completely forgot you were at 25 and then you got a 4. Yeah.
Bro,
No.
you're star
So,
walking.
so here's the thing. Here's the thing. It's not as much. You the tiny scuttling legs. It's not as much as like your body is physically equipped to move this fast, as much as you are already like legs moving before you even think about actually going fast, and you are in a full bottleneck sprint down the hall. Like, I think this is the first time since you've actually like gotten that
Yeah.
ability before you actually had like the space to run. So you are like full marathon runner going for a world record 4-minute mile. Like, you see Kipley in the hallway and you are there in a second, dashing to 120 goddamn feet. And 130 goddamn feet. And you are just on her like that. She is still dashing at a pace of 60 per round. So you do catch up with her, and you're like Captain America almost on your left vibes.
Yeah.
I will say, as you are kind of speedster running up beside her, you can see in this current state, she looks awful. As the sunlight is now beginning to pour through all of the glass-stained windows and all the various just portholes in the palace, you can see Kipley's skin is no longer pale. It is gray. It is completely and utterly devoid of color. And right now, as you look at her, you have that moment that a child gets when you see, like, imagine 10 times worse than this, but like when a child sees like a parent like without their beard for the first time.
Oh,
After
God.
it's like that, but way worse. Um, as you've never really seen Kipley like this. You've seen Kipley do atrocious things before, and you've seen her turn into some really strange things. This still freaks you out. you are genuinely worried and perturbed by what you see her currently looking at right now. And she is, at the moment, not even acknowledging you, despite the fact that you are a child at a movement speed of 65 feet per round, if I can beaming it down the hallway. And she continues, and you follow. And you watch as she begins to maneuver throughout the halls, almost as if it's some sort of in-flight training, going between every cut corridor and beelining it to what you can immediately recognize from the day prior as the dining hall. And as you get, as she gets closer to the doors, you watch she doesn't even bother to stop flying. She just impacts against the doorway. And there's just a large thud that just kind of echoes throughout the empty halls as this tiny Batwoman slams up against the doors, hits it with enough force that it does creak open, and then kind of scurries and scrambles inside. To which Aldrin nor Mori are currently in the room at the time. It is just currently empty. The silver plating and cutlery are all still there. But there's no actual other people in here. You watch she runs up to the table, and Kipple, you have that moment where you are aware enough to know that the previous implements that you used last time to summon a bunch of fruit and I think a charcuterie board for what is essentially the hero's feast that is imbued into these items is at your disposal. What comes to mind?
Megan might be forgetting. So, like, there's not food here currently, right?
There's nothing out on the table right now, but there is the I hate myself because we did talk about how weird of a word it is. I think it's coquet. The little silver dish that you put over food and you lift off.
Oh, the cloche. The cloak.
Cloche.
The
There we
cloak.
go.
The cloak.
The cloak, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah, see, okay, we all remember it, but none of us remember how to say it right, except for Megan. Yeah, you do know underneath those when you lift it up, as long as you are thinking of something that is reasonable and non-magical, it will
Okay.
appear.
So she her full body rolls into the room as she bursts through the door, rolls to her feet in hands, kind of like wings splayed out, looks at the table, runs forward, darts, and jumps onto the table to where one of the cloche, fuck it.
I know.
And she is in a crouched position on the table, and her arms half wrapped around this cloche, and she lifts it up, sees nothing, slams it back down, and with just complete dark eyes is just wrapped around it, and is just kind of intensely whispering over it and seemingly just putting all her thoughts towards it. And just a maddening pattern of trying to look at it, lift it, nothing, puts it back down.
You are, for those that wouldn't be awake in the form of Duradon and Mustang, are immediately awoken by even the distant sound of this rampant clanging as Kipley is just grabbing the cloche, lifting it up, and slamming it down repeatedly over and over again while murmuring to herself. And ma'am, if you are 100% there, making it into the room, as she initially does this, and you can watch this happen in real time. Mustang, it takes you have to run, or if you want to walk, you can walk to the clanging of the dinner area.
He's going to probably jog.
A light jog in the morning as you are beginning to make your way down there. As you're immediately
Get the
there,
blood pumping.
the metaphorical blood.
Yeah, smoke pumping.
Mammoth, is there anything that you want to do or say as you're just watching your beloved friend go into this weird pots and pans slam mix?
Uh, I just I I just cast Goodberry and like try to put it in her hands.
Cast Goodberry.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
Does it smell like fruit?
No,
Oh.
it smells absolutely vile to you. And as he puts it over to you, near instinctually, you watch as Kipley just bats it away, and almost like a feral animal hisses. And lets out this strange kind of like high pitch whistle.
What the heck, dude?
She just kind of like curls back over the cloche, like kind of turning away from you. The wings kind of curled around, and you just hear the picking up the metallic clang back down. You hear her whispering kind of maniacally, lifting up, clanging back down.
Thing. And just about as Mustang arrives, walking in from the other entrance, you see a very kind of like tired, still in her morning gown, hair kind of slightly disheveled, and kind of wiping her eyes still, as it looks like she's just woken up. You do see Maury kind of slowly walking in. She goes, "Oh my God, what is that sound? What is going on in here? Oh my goodness." And she kind of takes in the kind of fugue state that Kipley's in, looks and sees that Mammoth spectating nearby and Mustang arriving as well. She goes, um, good morning. What exactly is going on with your friend?
I don't have any idea.
Kipley chucks the cloak across the room and
It
like leaps.
slams against the floor.
Yeah, she like leaps across to another one and search the same pattern.
Yeah. She's, oh, you really don't have to do. And she goes and runs and picks up the koshi from the floor and puts it on the table. Please, calm down. What is the matter? And then she gets a look at you and she like eyes kind of go wide and leans like a little bit back and like takes a step back. Odrin? Odrin? And you can hear her beginning to, I'm not going to actually do it because I don't want to wake up people. You hear actually beginning to like shout for Aldrin, and you do hear her slip in a wave there. She goes, "Wave, wave, what is going on?" And almost instantly, there is a sound of a heavy thud and a landing as Aldrin and Wave both appear on her left and right, almost nearly simultaneously. You see Aldrin immediately locks eyes with Kipley, sees you in this kind of like banging and rattling of the cloche while looking as you do. Um, Within a word, you watch as he snaps his fingers. I'm gonna need you, Kipley, to go ahead and make me a charisma saving throw.
Wappa.
You are looking to beat a DC of 23.
Ooh.
Is it a natural 20 for 28? Yeah. Jeez. You keep banging. You feel your body temporarily get thrown into astral space through a low-level banishment spell, and whatever you're currently in right now, this overwhelming sense of self-preservation thoroughly forces your power of will over this creature. As for the moment, even 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 Aldrin himself kind of looks taken aback by whatever the fuck you are currently doing. The fact that you just resisted the spell. See, Wave begins to walk up, not in like an aggressive manner, but just walking up, beginning to roll up some of his sleeves. He looks towards Mammoth, looks towards Mustang, goes, "What happened?"
I'm afraid I was off watch duty for this one. Mammoth, you know what's going on?
I don't know. She took off out of my room and started booking it, and she looks horrible, and I don't really have any idea what's going on.
Right. And you see he begins to walk up and is going to go ahead and attempt to grapple Kipley in not like a full headlock choke, but is trying to fully wrap himself around you and pin you to the ground. Go ahead and make me either athletics or acrobatics, your choice. You are looking to beat. It's definitely going off athletics.
Oh my god, what the fuck? That's my
Hey, gang.
third in a row. What?
We're
That's wild.
we're gonna
They
resort to
want
some
Kipley to
violence
pair it up.
here. 16.
I
They're
have
rolling shit,
never
dude.
rolled this fucking good as Kipley.
Two natural
ever.
20s in a row. That's 3 natural 20s in like 4 rolls. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Um yeah, you watch as Wave walks up, grabs onto Kipley's wrist, and you watch as the hand that does so begins to turn black and dark. And he instinctually pulls away, and Kipley kicks off of him and just begins to wings flap out into the air, flying a good 60 feet up. Now looking around, taking in the fact that people are beginning to put hands on you, or beginning to get slightly more aggressive. Spells have been cast. He just tried to grapple you, and you can feel things getting tense before you watch as your vision begins to almost tunnel, and you get this like strange darkness that's slowly beginning to, and you watch as from 60 feet Kipley's body drops and hits the table, completely unmoving. Cloches and silverware slams as she impacts. And you can all now see that she has stopped moving and is in this state. Mustang, Ultron, Wave, Mammoth. Whatever this is, it sure looks like it was Kipley. Certainly does not resemble her normal form right now. The flesh that normally is within her body is barely noticeable, if at all, there to begin with. It looks like that she is currently to put it in the best of terms, a skeleton with a flesh suit. It looks like someone has drained her of any blood overnight, and this is whatever is left behind. You see she is lying unmoving, and you see Ultron finishes the incantation. Just looks at you two like with a genuine like what the fuck, as he just watched this tiny little woman kick off both him and Wave in separate ways. A wonderful start to the morning. Need to take care of these before we eat, then. Eventful day this is. And you see he goes ahead and motions for Wave, who takes the tablecloth. Does the, you know what? Just because I think this would be super funny if he fails. I would ask it of any of you if you tried to do this, so I'm going to double standard myself here. Not great, only a +4. 22. Zero effort, takes the tablecloth, flings it off the table.
Damn, he's nasty.
Yeah, it's a long tempo up too. He has to like scrunch it up a little bit before pulling it. Pulls it off, wraps Kipley up in it to the point where he doesn't actually have to make physical contact with her, and kind of looks like a baby swaddled bat a little bit. You
Oh,
know how they wrap them up for treatments when they give them
Oh.
like various medicine, giving you reminiscent vibes, but way creepier. And begins to walk away with her. Goes, if you want, I guess you can eat, but I'm going to go ahead and try and find out exactly what the hell this is or what happened to your friend who I talked to last night and seemed perfectly fine.
Well, I don't need to eat, so can I come with you?
Or
It's a date. Let's go.
kind of without not turning to leave yet, looks towards Mammoth. Coming to, or are you gonna sit this one out?
no, I want to go with you.
Very, very well. Claps onto both your shoulders, kind of having to lean one arm just kind of on top of Mammoth's head by carrying Kipley, and all three of you bamf and evaporate into mist. And you reappear in a room that you haven't seen before. Um, Inside is this expansive chamber that has no roof to it. You look up and you see nothing but the stars. Almost like you were looking up at the night sky, even though you've just seen the dawn but mere moments ago. Um, there's a mix of kind of marble and ivory pillars. They're forming this very reminiscent to kind of Greek pantheon vibes. They're creating a massive archways separating what would be rooms. There's various different tables. You see vials, glasses, and all various sorts of liquids filling them in the midst of either still bubbling gas and all different sorts of technology that you have not seen before. This is very much reminiscent of what you've seen in the Forge, but slightly what appears to be more alchemical rather than metal. Um, and you watch as he takes the body of Kipley and places it on one of the nearby empty countertops. It just kind of begins to take some chalk and draw a circle around where she is lying down. And he gestures for all of you to step out of it as he's doing so. It takes about 5 minutes. And after it's over, you see there's just this slight glimmer appearing on the floor. And it vanishes the second that it appears. But something has been cast. And he just begins to go through various different incantations. You hear him mutter something. His brow furrow. Repeat. And clearly is in the midst of running into some sort of block. Either of you two saying anything would like to try something.
Crap. Okay. Does it look like there's any way we can help, or kind of out of our depth here?
As far as you both go, the arcane eludes you both. If you want to, you know, from your point of view, you have the ability to give Bardics. You don't know what specifically he's trying to do, but you do know you have the magical prowess to aid when people are making ability checks or trying to do something that takes action. Um, that's the best you got from your point of view. None of
Okay, yeah.
which that you can currently recognize spell-wise is being shown.
Sure, I'll pass out a few bardics. and then sit on my hands because I'm going to assume that they're very capable, and if they need help, they will tell us what to do.
How would you like to inspire him? You can give one at a time, so you'll give him the one for now.
I think at this point, he doesn't want to say anything that's going to upset either of them. So is it possible for him to just, like, this might upset them more, but he thinks it's better to play, like, slightly suspenseful music on the guitar that, Wave. Yeah.
Kipley dying, meanwhile, Freebird in the background.
Yeah. Fly, free bird.
Bird, yeah. Free bat. Yeah, no, you can do it. That's a D8 at this level, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Mammoth, anything?
No.
Okay. Um, the next ritual that he casts is 10 minutes. And during this time, Ghibli,
Yeah.
after you went into a state of not unconsciousness, because here's a fun fact: you can't be put to sleep magically. However, you can be absolutely forced into a state of incapacitation, of which you are currently in.
Sleep
The-
paralysis? That's terrifying.
Yeah. No, there's just straight up some spells that incapacitate. Way scarier. Usually in combat, if you're hit, it drops. You're not taking damage here. You find yourself in a state where you can't move and or feel your body. The only reference you have to this is when you lucid dream, and you are not getting anything right now. It is just pitch black. You feel only fear, excuse me, and that craving hunger is only growing. Um, it genuinely feels like you haven't eaten anything in months, which isn't fully inaccurate, but you didn't feel this before at all, even after you had the moment of understanding what you were, or at least thinking you understood what you were when you began this transformation. However, in this moment, you hear a voice. Distant, faint, but you do hear a familiar voice call out to you. Soon, consume, consume, consume. One word repeated over and over again. It sounds like this is genuinely like the softest radio you've ever heard that's barely in range of a walkie-talkie. Most distant phone call, the worst connection. You are barely hearing this, but just a whisper does reach your mind.
And it's
The one command.
familiar.
It very much is reminiscent of the Bone Mother.
Okay.
It doesn't sound one-to-one.
Mm-hmm.
Just, would normally would be off-putting enough for you to be like, but in this state, you really don't process that right now. The word itself does find purchase, though, as you were in the midst of this already hunger-consuming state. Yeah, you really get like a no-dur kind of situation, where you're already in this state, already doing that, and you all watch as Wave's gonna go ahead and make his check. He does get a big boy modifier, but I have been rolling like actual garbage, so I am going to make him roll for this. Did not on either a Monarch or Stone Sword at the beginning of creation roll above a 10 tonight, so
Did you hear that, Mustang?
it's not looking great.
Big boy roll.
Ay, caramba.
20 for Arcana. That is plus 11. Okay, well, that's fantastic. And
Oh
we will
my
add,
god.
we'll add Bardic Inspiration for 35. Um, hey, if it's there, yeah, you use it. There is a moment, Mustang, where you do see him beginning to finish the incantation, comes to an end, and you just see his eyes, Wave's eyes, begin to flicker in various different parts of the room. Like he is looking at dozens, if not dozens upon dozens of items at once. And you see as his hand places against Kipley's chest, still covered by the blanket, so he's not making direct contact, but placed on her chest, there's a moment where he closes his eyes. You can see his head begin to twitch a little bit, and the suspenseful music that you are playing from, I presume, the guitar.
That's all I
You,
got.
you popping
Suspenseful
out the
spat.
guitar, just the strings beginning to chord this hum that's beginning to build throughout the very echoey chamber that you are in right now. Acoustics out of this world. And you watch as the body goes still. And the music almost finding yourself stopping with the strum in tune. And you watch as he looks down at Kipley with this new concern. And he looks at you and goes, "Stay here. Don't move. Don't touch." And then vanishes into mist. Kipley, you wake up. You are still wrapped in the swaddled tablecloth that you are. And that hunger is still driving you. I need you to go ahead and make me a wisdom saving throw.
Ew.
You're going to go ahead and make this as a straight roll. You're looking for a DC of 17 or higher.
Okay, 16.
16. You feel that source of hunger finally get a direction. As you turn and look at Mammoth and Mustang and leap out of the tablecloth in their direction, and you both watch as Kipley slams into an invisible wall face first, and you notice that there are some longer extremities in her mouth than there was before.
What does that
The
mean?
the teeth, that you already knew. She had kind of like more like bestial teeth, being a shifter. Um, there are a number of the canines that have grown out ever so slightly, and two in the front that have specifically grown out longer than the others.
She like slams against this invisible wall, tumbles to the ground, and like immediately darts back up onto the wall and almost like spider
100%.
along it, like trying to get towards all of you.
And you watch very much like a spider as Kipley begins to try and climb up, immediately gaining the wings and beginning to beat, and she slams 10 feet up into the air into that same wall and just begins to pinball herself, rapidly hitting, and you hear an arcane surge of energy when she does. There is a almost like a bug zapper responding to a quick fly that just zoomed into it. You are getting rapid surges of arcane sparks as she slams up against this barrier time and time again. Anything you two doing in the meantime?
You guys know how like back in the day before they could do audio for cartoons and stuff, they'd like play music, kind of animate people's voices. He's
Oh
gonna
my.
kind of do like a spider scuttling sound on his guitar, and he'll like crescendo as she slams herself against the wall and something of that nature.
Brutal. I love it.
He's kind of watching with a little bit of wide-eyed horror, but he's still gonna poke a little bit of fun.
Sure. Mammoth, anything?
He's kind of staring, mouth a little agape, and then when Mustang starts to crescendo, the edges of his mouth curl up, and he kind of starts to smile, like realizing it in the background, but just still utterly confused.
Love that so much. Friend turns into monster. Me. um, a few moments do pass, and it is feeling near like an eternity. Um, before another Bamf sound reappears with the mist following. And you see Ultron and Wave both appear, um, looking now at Kipley, and you see there is a small gem in her hands, in Ultron's hands, excuse me. It looks to be some kind of, you assume sapphire? Very well cut, blue, and a diamond-esque shape. You can see it's no bigger than the size, slightly bigger than the size of your palm. Um, doesn't look overly heavy. You don't see any kind of overly arcanic runes or anything inscribed upon its surface. But you watch as he hands it over to Wave. Wave walks up to the circle, uh, casts Dispel Magic. The circle ends. Kipley immediately darts in Mammoth's direction before that hunger that you're craving. In a mere second, you see that gem, and you watch as Kipley diverts their path over to it, reaching both hands into the side of it, piercing into your own flesh, grabs it, and shatters it. And you all hear for a brief moment just this gasp, an inhale, a voice gone. Ghibli immediately crumples to the floor, and you watch as those two larger things in the front slowly begin to sink back up into her teeth. The color does not return. There is no sign of her body filling out to the size that it once was. For the moment, whatever that was, your hunger seems to subside. Feeling satisfied, at least for now. And Wave nods at Ultron, who immediately bamps back into mist out of the room, as well as Wave kind of looks at the two of you. Yeah, I think we'll have a talk over breakfast. Snaps. All of you disappear from the room. And you are back inside of the dining hall like you never left. You can see Maury has readjusted all of the silverware, put out a new tablecloth, and all of the cliches are back in their original places. You see she's put kind of one of the benches that are on like the far side of the wall. They're normally used for like outside conversations, away from the dining table. One has been pulled up next to it, and they lie Kipley down on it. You see Uldren takes a seat at the table, Mori sitting next to him, and Wave, opposed to his previous stance, kind of posing up at Uldren's left side, um, offers for Mammoth and Mustang to sit down first.
Still in shock, Mustang shall oblige.
Yeah, same with Mammoth.
You see Wave kind of, instead of standing, goes and sits down by Uldren as well. Kind of letting out this deep sigh, and you can see, as seen previously, from both Mustang, actually, I think Mustang and Duradon was the ones who have actually seen this before. There is no insight check needed, genuine concern on his face. Like he just saw a ghost. Unintended, because he did see your ghost. Haha.
But
The but you see he goes, I bet you have questions. As do I. Would you like to wait until she wakes up, or just start now?
I think you should probably start now.
I think she probably doesn't know any of this either, so I would advise waiting until she awakes, but I will at least give you some context now. It appears that you are traveling with a far more dangerous companion than you originally thought, same as I. Of all the people that would be sent on a mission like this is certainly the most concerning group I could ever conjure in my imagination, with all due respect. I thought that prior, and it has only been confirmed and made worse by this morning's events. Tell me, and I would like you to be very honest, as you know I request. How long have you known this woman? Has she always been like how you've seen her of recent? Undead.
No.
Not at all.
So you've known her prior to this.
Yeah.
Was this the doing of a pact? Through some sort of patron warlock relationship, or anything that you are aware of?
I mean, I know she's got stuff going on, but I don't know if this was specifically related to one contract or another or whatever.
Not helpful, but sure. Looks towards Mustang.
Out of game, I don't know if Kipley ever divulged those details specifically.
Big old no.
Yeah. So Mustang, he kind of just shrugs his shoulders. I'm in the same boat. She loves her little secrets.
Well, I am certain that she would love to share with the group when she awakes. Because it may be a big decision of whether or not she is allowed to stay alive.
Oh.
Never mind with your group. I'm not saying that in a threatening manner. I mean that in the most literal sense of the term. I've never seen one close to that level of starvation. She must have not eaten in a very long time. But it appears that if she didn't eat today, she might have died. Or at the very least, body would have been destroyed and reset.
I mean, I tried to give her food and she tossed it aside.
Wrong source of substance for what you're looking for, bud. The effort is seen. Fortunately, not what she needs.
I don't. What does she need?
Let's wait a few minutes. I think this is best that she hears this too. A few moments go by. About 5-ish minutes go by, and it's just kind of awkward silence. See, Maury is just eating. Uh, she is just, there's just sausage and eggs, and she is just going to town. Uldren is just ever so slightly snacking on like a singular cracker and just taking like the tiniest of bites while keeping his eyes on both you and Kipley. And no one is really making any major moves or trying to make any extra noise until all of a sudden you see Kipley begin to stir and kind of kick a little bit awake on the bench, and everyone's attention immediately snaps to her. Kipley, you open your eyes, and that feeling of hunger just kind of slips away. You feel perfectly normal. Same as yesterday, like nothing even happened. You do fully remember all of the events and what just transpired this morning.
She kind of half on her side pushes up slightly. Doesn't really take in everyone around her, but realizes she's not where she thought she was. And she kind of slides to the end of the table, drags herself over and slides off, and pauses as she stands and kind of in her peripheral realizes there's a bunch of people at this table
That are all staring at you.
Yeah.
Everyone's just silent. It's just complete dead silence as a room full of people just awkwardly stare for one reason or another in your direction.
I mean, I think it's for one reason.
Definitely for one, but hey, there's multiple. I want to be fair.
Inclusive.
She kind of wipes at her face a bit and still not looking anyone in the eye, just kind of threads her hands along the table, kind of moving herself along towards the end of it, and politely pulls a chair out and sits down, and then kind of reaches up and just straightens some of the silverware a bit, shoves some hair back, and just kind of tugs an ear down and starts worrying at it, still not looking anyone in the eye.
You hear from the end of the table. How do you feel?
She kind of looks up a bit hesitantly, but connects eyes for a brief moment. I'm fine.
Any impulse to randomly jump across the table and attack us?
Well, no.
Good.
No.
Yipley,
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you a question, just as you ask me questions. I want you to the best of your ability answer those questions honestly without bending words, leaving out information, anything of the sort, so I can best help understand what's going on just as much as you're probably trying to. Does that sound fair?
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you, in any aspect of your life, from childhood, from birth, whatever it might be until now, ever come in contact with an undead of a very powerful variety? Specifically an arcane caster.
She nods.
Did this individual identify themselves as a lich? Arch-lich, demi-lich, any of the above?
She kind of reaches forward and adjusts some of the silverware again. Picks up one of the cloches, puts it back on the plate, straightens it a bit, and then gives a small nod.
During this encounter, did you end up, in one way or another, making some sort of deal, contact with this individual? An agreement?
I think at that, her eyes kind of lift towards first Mammoth and then Mustang. And before they drop back down to her hands in her lap, and then she just kind of gives another nod.
This is extremely rare. And for once, congratulations. Not something that I've seen in person yet.
Wait, what? Sorry, what?
Many curses you can inflict on others one way or another. Spells, rituals, deals, contracts, all sorts of ways to get results. Others can be passed down generational for families, bloodlines, that sort of thing. Very rarely do you see someone that has openly accepted a curse before. Could be unknowingly. Very much seems like it, considering that this is not one that you would just welcome into your life unless you had greater plans for leaving behind any mortality that you might have once held on to. Try to dance around it for a while, because it's a very rough pill to swallow, but to the best of my knowledge, it looks like you have, not to the full extent, but are beginning to develop symptoms or signs of the early stages of lichdom.
Oh.
What you were fed back there was a living soul.
Oh.
I wouldn't think too bad about it. He was supposed to be eternally damned inside of that prison for very good reason. Nonetheless, if you didn't eat that, you could have died.
Right.
I have no way to immediately back this, but I have a strong hunch, if you will. Whatever food source that you've been using up until now, you probably haven't eaten in a very long time. Probably haven't had need for any sustenance, and because you've probably not been undead before, probably presumed you didn't need anything, as most undead don't. Going forward, you're most likely going to have to eat someone's soul if you want to continue living.
Okay. That...
I've never seen a case of second-hand lichdom, if you will. Self-imposed curses passed down from one to another. This is very new. It is not in its fullest effects. You do not have a phylactery. You did not go for the ritual as far as I can tell. So it may be curable. I'm gonna need some time. But until then, I would be very careful about what friendly faces you show yourself to.
Right.
One
Any...
hot day away from being nothing but skin and bones. Well, bones at this point.
Her eyes kind of drop to her arm and her hands.
It is very droopy. You can tell you still have flesh in there. But as far as blood goes, you think back to when you passed out last night. It takes a number of hours for a body to fully drain of blood, even if every orifice and hole was being used to flush it. However, if it were to dry up, being consumed, only take a few hours. Conveniently, the time that you were in a weird sleep. Still there for now, but nothing is moving in your body at all right now.
Right. So, is it waffles this morning? She kind of reaches forward, lifts the croche. There's nothing there, and she just kind of gently sets it back down.
I would advise not trying to eat, as painful as it may be. To the best of my knowledge, normal food becomes vile for liches.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It may be different, but I have no way of confirming it. So you are free to try, but do not place the bar very high for expectations. Did you see there are still good berries on the table from where Mammoth made them prior?
Oh,
Yeah.
You knocked away one, but there's still 9 others. It is technically a fruit.
Kivli reaches forward and picks up one, kind of curls it into her fist and pulls it into her lap, and she just looks up with a smile and just says, I never do. Okay. Well, sorry. Sorry about the... whatever the fuck that was. Sorry. Are we heading out today? What's dirt on? What's fucking Sorry, where's Cyrus? She, like, kind of starts looking back and forth.
You look around the table, you don't see them. In the next room, we cut to Dirt on Zyrus making out. Not kidding.
I knew it!
You just get like we just get a quick cutscene of Dirt on Zyrus, a completely different section of the palace, being like, "Where is everyone else?" They're both still lying in bed, sleeping.
Cut away like invincible.
Yeah,
Over there.
100%. As far as visitors, we do have one coming later today, but leaving the premises was not on any agenda of mine. At least not for any of you.
I think the unfinished business in this palace just keeps piling up, doesn't it, Aunt Kickley?
Well, she kind of looks, her eyes travel up towards you, kind of hesitantly. That brows kind of push together for a moment before the ears pull back, and she just kind of looks down and away.
As you look up at him, you see that this remark he has made, although he is usually quite snarky, he actually has a look of sympathy and understanding in his eyes.
Right.
So, is there anything that we can do? And then he points to himself and Mammoth.
See, he's just kind of... It looks like he is in the middle of kind of deep thought himself, and after giving that like long explanation, he is kind of shocked that you still have questions. He goes, "Oh, not that comes to mind. Druids normally prevent the spread or infection that undead are born from to begin with, but not normally cure it. As far as I know, unless you have any sort of knowledge of songs sung of the past for rituals to cure curses. I'm drawing a blank for you two at the moment. Keep in mind, I am an extraordinarily long-lived being myself, and this is the first time I have ever seen it happen. So this is all new for everybody. Curses don't normally get transferred like this. Most certainly not one that is as potent as one as Lichdom.
Wait, so how did it get transferred?
Vampirism. I'm trying to put that together myself. Something like this would need to be through some sort of unwilling pact made between the two, and two, I'm guessing, the consumption of a phylactery in one way or another. I've never thought about that before, but I'm really drawing a blank for what else it could be. Again, first time I've seen this. I am only guessing. I could be 100% wrong. I have no idea. Even at the best of my guesses, I'm falling short on any concrete evidence. whatever your friend got into, respectfully, whatever you got into, I think it was a little out of your depth for the moment. You can try some things. This is a little bit more manageable than your previous questioning. You're gonna need some time.
That's fair.
Well,
Dom, you said Mustang could feel the lingering presence of the spark. Is that true right now?
it's always kind of like semi-buzzing at all times. It's kind of like, think of it like when you're waiting at like the DMV and they have like a broken light and you can just kind of hear it buzzing the
Yeah.
entire
Oh my
time.
god.
That's all you can think about.
Why was that
It's kind.
so relatable?
Hey, listen, you need references for annoyances? I got you. My daily life. Um, it's similar to that, but like
Goodness
on a
gracious.
lower pitch scale of like it's not as annoying, but it is kind of always there.
No wonder Mustang's tolerance for bullshit is so high. He's got major exposure therapy. Okay. He's gonna turn inward for just a second and just be like, hey, this is your chance. Prove that maybe we're friends. If you know something, you better say something. But it'll just leave it at that.
You get none.
That's what I thought.
Fuck this
You
guy.
rotten bastard. That's what I fucking thought.
Yeah, ask the
You
fire if he
hating
knows
son
how
of
to
a bitch.
transform lichdom.
He's been alive a long time.
That
and
was
he
the
knows.
easiest giggle. I didn't like that.
Hmm?
That
Huh? What
was
do
a
you mean?
don't be coy, bastard.
Whatever do you mean, Ryan? Well, Kipley's on break. Let me just say to the party, as a group, above board, truly rough overall for the roles and decisions that have been made. Not like for the decisions part as much, but man, does it suck when you know a player knows something, but they just commit anyways. Oof. So for one, if you haven't figured it out by now, Kipley was lied to last session. The demon, 100% couldn't kill her. Damager, yes, 100%. Kill?
Was a
No.
ruse.
Yeah, the caller absolutely would have pierced her, wouldn't have killed her. It would have done at maximum like 50 damage. She has 59 HP, would have lived. The unfortunate circumstances, I don't know if anyone remembers way back when she first became undead and Jared brought up the entire, oh my god, undead can't be affected by cure wounds and revivify. And I said, no, those still work, but there's something much worse down the line. Welcome
This is it.
welcome to down the line.
We're down the line. Oh, Friday game. Journey to the Shrouded Isle? No. Journey down the line.
Listen, if every person doesn't have some minor and or medium decision that they don't regret, have I succeeded as a DM? Gotta keep it exciting and or
Need
make
some
people
decisions.
constantly question what they're doing.
Need some decisions that we don't regret. Maybe some decisions that we're happy with. Wait. Beach episode when? Beach episode
Each
when?
episode when I think honestly maybe maybe coming up soon. Maybe we go to the undead beach. Skeletor going to the beach.
Episode.
Let's go get away.
Go to
Hey.
beach. Let's go get away.
Hey, what drink on that? Drink, grab a Bud Light.
Hey, it's up to you guys. You want to go to the beach? Go to the beach. See
And
what
get
happens.
like royally butt fucked by some ungodly I don't know, like a Tarrasque is gonna show up and ruin our
Like
beach
a Tide
episode.
Ripper from fucking Horizon or something.
Listen. I would never do such a thing.
Right.
You
Let me
do
write
worse.
that. Yeah, let me write that down. I do
Let me
worse.
put that down.
No. I was going to have a saying a more peaceful session is kind of like a mute point because even the more calm sessions do have major plot. But I was like, man, I've had this note sitting in my Google Doc for like over 2 months, trying to remember to do this because I set the date, the original date that I wanted Kipley to start showing signs of change for a month after she got the Vander transformation / 8 Vander. So I was like, yeah, I'll wait a month, and then the month in game went by, and I got caught up in more plot related things at the time, so I forgot to start talking about it. I was like, fuck, we're in the past. I gotta do it sooner or later. Welcome to sooner.
The bill comes due.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Kipley, just so that you get it in your own recording as well. Well, you already are gonna get it, but just so you know as well. Um, the encounter with Mordred, 100% lied to you. He was correct the first time. That insight check where you got a 12, 100% he could not kill you. Above board, he could have only done up to like a maximum of 5d10. You got 59 HP, baby. You would have been fine. But you believed
Bitch!
him. You believed him.
You got your ass.
And you failed the charisma saving throw. So when you went to go ask Noel about it, all he had to do was slightly alter what you heard because you lose physical facilities for the charisma saving throw. And man, it sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks because you straight up got and
This
I
is
really I was so proud when you were like, I want an insight check, and then the dice really just fucked you.
this is literally how the dice treat Kipley. It's
They
like
roll
the
so well.
shittiest rolls,
Yeah.
and then
They roll
3
so well when you
natural
don't need them.
20s for absolute bullshit.
When you are like about to lose control or like are doing something chaotic, it will Jesus take the wheel, let me do this for you, girl. I got it. No problem. All of a sudden, you need it to do like a game-winning play, not enter a contract with a devil that's gonna be, negatively impacting you. Nope, it's gonna give you a 6.
Yeah. No, if there's
It's rough.
a pact to be made, the dice are just
Kipley's
gonna
out there.
fuck it.
Yeah, they're like, hey, we're gonna stack as many people making deals as possible. Oh, justice for Kipley. Anyway,
Justice for Kipley 2025. Just as a heads up.
I thought I just needed to share because, oof, that was some rough rolls. Also, free natural 20s,
That was crazy. That was crazy work. That was
I know.
absolutely
When I
insane
said
luck.
DC of 23, I was like, man, I feel bad. And then you got 28, and I was like, man, I don't feel bad anymore. Like,
Random bullshit,
like-
go.
no, me looking at the spell that if you have less than 100 hit points, you get incapacitated, rubbing hands together. What if I just don't make you roll? Anyway,
That's fucked up.
listen, she was rolling too well. You did too well in front of a monarch. He can't be embarrassed in his own home. That's what we were worried about. Anyway, yeah. I will ask. Is there anything? Is there any conversations or anything else that you guys would like to accomplish tonight? Otherwise, we might cut it short there. So that
I was
way
just
we
about to
can
say I'm
pick
gonna have to go
up-
to bed in 10 minutes.
Yeah, I was gonna say we can pick up next time with Jared getting caught up on all that. I think that alone might be a tall task.
So much did happen.
Yeah, I really like the conversations, and I got reminded that we have literal Quicksilver here. The
Dude, I've been
tiniest,
waiting on that for so fucking
the
long. I've had
tiniest
zero
sprinter.
reason
Yeah,
to
when you
use
said
it.
65, I was tweaking. So I was like, is he forgetting that he doesn't have the broom? I'm now realizing you're faster than a magic item. You're faster than a magic item that
I
is
don't really need
normally
the broom
sought for
anymore.
its speed.
You were
All it
like
does is give me fall damage.
you were like back swimming backwards, like lazily,
100%.
like alongside Kipley, who's just like darting as fast as she can, and
I like to think of
Truly
it like
crazy.
instead of like Dash from The Incredibles, it's like he's like leaping along like I don't know, magic star discs or something like that.
oh, that's
Well,
so
that's cool. Very
cool.
cute.
I'm not opposed.
Not opposed.
I'm not opposed, gang. That shit's cool. Listen, hey, we already like the star concept. Using Mario as like a little, Goomba stomping people, I'll take it.
Wow.
Star
I
skating.
tried to find like a gif of it, but I can't remember what character does it. I thought it was Gwen 10 for a second, but I couldn't find anything about that. But where like they throw out the like I thought she threw out her pink disc and would like run on them, like make stairs and shit. Like it's a pretty normal concept and like
mm,
fantasy
Wait.
sci-fi kind of stuff. But I
I can
a
see
lot
can't
of
it in
like
my
people
think of
head.
use
anything
that.
specific. I
Yeah, a
can't
lot
think
of
of
people use
anything
that, but
specific.
now that you mention that, I can't actually name it off the top of my head. Yeah, no, that is right. That is right. Um, but yeah, I will say then, as we end tonight's session, above board, surprise, surprise, going forward for every month. Excuse me, as I die on the inside. Um, for every month, you're gonna have to consume a soul. It
Uh-oh.
is
Mustang's looking a lot
basically
like
like
dinner.
it is basically like yeah, kind of. That's why I said Mustang and Mammoth, because technically you could eat either. But
It's like a lobster
the
with the shell on, and one has the lobster with the shell off.
I will say for Megan, depending on how you want to go about this, if you want to go down the path of Lichdom, maybe the option's now open. If you also want to cure it, the option is very much there because you have a very powerful Arcanist on your side as well as a Monarch. Um, but you are beginning to show signs of that little undead warning that I gave you, what, 6-7 months ago. Do you remember when Jared was like, "Oh, I can she not get healed by cure wounds or revivify?" And I said, "No, it's much worse," and everyone nervously laughed.
Yeah, and then like nothing ever happened. So I was like,
And
oh,
nothing ever happened.
cool. We're
No,
we're
I was
good.
waiting. I was explaining it to Mustang and Mav. So I was waiting for an in-game month to pass until after you made the deal with Vander, and I was like, that's why I had Vander be so insistent, like, "Hey, gang, I'm gonna be so real with you. When I'm saying accepting my sins, I'm not talking about metaphorically. I mean literally." And you're like, yeah, no, I've already done fucked up shit. Like, what you talking about? Liched him.
Cool. Cool.
What are the benefits? Are there like any? I
So
assume
yeah,
there
if
are.
if she decides to go down the path of lichdom, she will gain the benefit eventually of getting a phylactery, which means that whenever Kipley is killed, she will go back to her gem and respawn. So she will
Fire.
effectively become immortal as long as the gem isn't destroyed. She will lose basically any physical weakness, so that she will never age, which undead normally already do. But anything that she would get for being an undead right now, like a divine smite right now, if you hit her, would deal an extra 1d8. She would lose that.
Oh.
Any humanoid aspect that she's treated as, for like control person or anything like that, would fail, as she would become a monster. It'd be purely undead typing. There'd be no humanoid mix. And yeah, you would gain, if you really wanted to, you would gain access to a bunch of new occult spells from the wizard class.
Oh fuck.
Specifically necromancy, and more spells. Essentially, you get a spell tome and a spell book over time that you would be able to fill in. Um, and it'd be a weird mixture between kind of like you got warlock spell slots, wizard spell slots on the other side.
And
Yeah.
like 4 patrons.
Honestly, you collect patrons like they are like
Gotta catch them all.
yeah, Pokemon. Gotta
Fucking
contract them
candy
all.
on Halloween, dude.
So you got
Door to door.
Mordred, you got Vanderd, you got the Bone Mother, you got Evelyn Kroll, you got the Monarch of Mischief. Like 5 semi patrons in one campaign goes crazy. Now, are they actually your patrons? No, you just got deals with people. But it's funny to say they are.
She'll figure it out at some point.
Yeah, but think about that because there is benefits, there is downsides.
What are the downsides?
Most obvious downside, you will be
Have to
undoubtedly
eat
an
a soul.
undead.
Evil.
Yeah, having to consume a soul. I will say consuming a soul over a month per eternity gonna lead some questionable methods of how you get souls. Because there is not that many bad people in the world that you have easy access to. Most certainly power hungry. It's just I'm not gonna force an evil alignment on somebody, but if that's the choice that you want to go down it, also you are not going to be allowed in society. No such thing as a nice lich in any era that has ever existed. People will actively just be threatening with you for just existing in their presence, even if it's a level 1 farmer, level 0 farmer, excuse me. I 100% kick you out of their house, throw you to the dogs, try and do anything, get rid of you. All that type shit. But yeah, this is, you know,
Oh my god.
here we are. Oh.
Choices.
I'll keep that in mind for you too, Mustang.
What the heck does that mean?
Becoming a lich?
No, but also you got some plans to think about for next week.
Oh.
You have the body
you
man,
guys
the bottom man
The
coming
body
on up.
man.
Onion.
aren't even ready. You guys aren't even ready. You know, with Manstang, maybe I will be able to bag wave. Maybe.
Man stay.
I love how you get like objectively one of the most powerful beings you've run into in the campaign so far, who has given you nothing but disrespect, and you only objectify him because he's hot in your presence.
Use my sweet
And
cornflower.
it's so
You will
perfect.
be mine.
Yeah, bro is literally
Sweet
like
cornflower.
my sweet cornflower.
Yeah,
No
where
idea
did
where
that
it came
come from?
Immediately hate
That's
it.
so great. I
Immediately
love it.
hated.
Love everything about it.
You will be mine.
Cornflower just doesn't sound right. I don't know.
It does. It sounds perfect.
Doesn't need to
I have to
rise.
send you something.
Oh, you guys are not ready. Manstang is like one of my peak creations. I cannot even like. Never has a man so
But,
perfect ever been
Ash,
divine.
I will say, because if you decide that you're gonna go through with the change, so if you want to try and talk your way out, you can. I will leave that option open to you. But if you
Oh my
decide
God,
to
get
go
my
for the
ass beat.
change, you will, in the same essence as Kipley, coming like losing all of her current features, you will lose access to all of your current
Yes, I
majority of your current
know.
features. However, I will give you this. If you would like, obviously we can craft up some new replacement abilities, or if you want, I will allow you for the randomize option, where you can potentially keep some and port off others, but it will be not by choice, just completely using one of the abilities that's currently in there, rolling a die, seeing where it lands. If you are that attached to said current abilities, because I know you got a few you want to keep.
Yeah, I do. You know, maybe we should talk about that sometime before next week, so we're not like.
Nope. Just
Scrambling.
send me the message when you get the chance. We can discuss.
I am not going to have the chance.
Listen, me neither.
Yeah,
I say this out of pure like
I know.
business
Real
is
game
business.
recognize game, real recognize real. I am not gonna have time to do that. But I will try.
Yeah. We can do it 2 seconds before the session starts. I think that sounds good.
Or, you know, session can start. Oh, shit. We can all just sit and listen to you two debate.
I
No,
just
I
try
wanna
and
be
decide
Yeah, me
surprised.
too. Plead my course, come with all my papers, being like, the evidence
Yeah.
shows that you should let me keep this, and this.
You're but also next week, because I know at least one of you reminded me of this. Because I remember that, and then a month went by, and I'm pretty sure everyone forgot it. Keep in mind, all of you still have no items. And
Yeah.
that will be one
We're-
thing we are addressing next week. It's not going to be a beach episode per se, but it is going to be a much more calmer episode. I don't know why I'm saying episode. Fuck it. I'm
No, that's
cooked.
an
This
episode.
episode, bruh.
It's because beach episode. That's why.
Beach episode. I love a beach episode.
Next session we'll be making at the very bare minimum arcane focuses, so that for spells that require basic components, you do not need to worry about and all that good shit.
Yay.
For getting magic items as well, there is going to be potential to replace and or create in the future. I'm gonna leave the emphasis on create because there is a lot of very powerful people here who are have a lot of access to very powerful things. And it's only fair that if I have the ability to take away all said items, that I give you the ability to make them yourselves and replace them. So in case I forget that, someone remind me next session. There is an actual method of how to do this. Jared will be very happy with it. That is all.
Yippee! Yippee! I'm so excited. Got our
It's gonna be
stuff
fucking
back.
sick.
Yeah, hope you enjoyed.
Yippee. Was cool ist das bitte?
Plus you.
Bless her.
Yeah, you guys don't know that? It's like something about like play Fortnite and drink cola.
Yeah,
Yippee!
I've never once heard that in my life.
Alright.
That's where the
feel-
Yippee soundbite comes from. It's just
I-
like the extended video.
I feel like an old man.
Yeah, he's speaking German, and that's also something he's like. Was cool ist das bitte? Play Fortnite and drink cola.
Coca-Cola.
Yippee!
I'll take your word for it.
This is my sign that I need to go
Gosh.
to bed, and I'm talking crazy.
Absolutely.